Now, it's no longer news that the state of detention facilities in most police stations across Nigeria leaves much to be desired, but that may soon change. This is because the National Human Rights Commission has announced plans to develop guidelines for the improvement of all the facilities over the country. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Bem Angwe, announced the plan while presenting an audit report of its 2013 police station visitation in Abuja.
The visitation to police stations was conducted in line with the National Human Rights Commission's mandate to inspect prisons, prison cells, and other detention facilities to ascertain the condition of the facilities. Presenting the 2013 visitation report, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission admits that more work needs to be done to stop human rights abuses in detention facilities.
The Commission, together with its partners, intends to use the findings from this police station visitation to develop guidelines that will improve the conditions of detention facilities in police stations across the country. To also develop human rights training for the police based on areas of challenges that have been identified.
The representatives of Justice for All and Clean Foundation, however, commended the Nigerian police for its improved detention facilities.
It's very pleasing to see the Nigerian police and the police stations doing so well.
For the first time in 2013, I don't think there was approval for access for the police station visitors week. And that was based on the fact that the Human Rights Commission has within its mandate, has automatic access to visit all detention facilities within the country.
The chairman of the National Committee Against Torture appealed to Nigerians whose rights are being abused to report such cases to the committee.
If there is a case of torture, there is now an avenue for you to report. Ours is very narrow. It is only cases of torture. And our position is like a semi-judicial organization. Once we get a report on torture, we will investigate. We will take the report, we will call the police, and we will investigate to determine who is wrong. And if we find that somebody has tortured the other, we will recommend prosecution.
The visitation exercise covered 369 police stations across the 6 geopolitical zones, and out of the police stations visited, only 10 had good detention facilities.
And now to this tragic story from Abakaliki in Ebonyi State, where reports say 3 school children have drowned at the Ebia River. Eyewitness account says all 3 children lived in the same compound. The source says 2 of the children were in primary 6, while the third one was in primary 3. The children drowned when they went to swim at the river after school. The first jumped into the river and was followed by the other 2. None of them came out alive. The federal government has refuted claims in some quarters of an outbreak of Ebola disease in the country. At a news conference in Abuja, the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Karu Alsan, says what most Nigerians mistake for Ebola is dengue fever, which is transmitted by mosquitoes in urban and semi-urban areas.
As a follow-up of a report in the section of the media of an outbreak of Ebola disease in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health wishes to inform the general public that laboratory investigation has revealed that it is not Ebola, but a dengue hemorrhagic fever, as it has been reported wrongly. Dengue fever is caused by a virus, which is usually transmitted through a particular type of mosquito, not the normal Anopheles mosquito we know that transmit malaria, but it is also a mosquito known as Aedes aegypti or albopictus. So let's not get it. This is not the normal mosquito that we know in Nigeria that transmit malaria. So this dengue fever is usually transmitted by this particular mosquito. Its symptoms are very similar to that of malaria. That is, you get fever, you get headache, you get body pains, of course you may be associated vomiting, and some maybe little children maybe with diarrhea, and symptoms that are just generally just like malaria. So it can easily be mistaken for malaria if not carefully, if you don't have a very high index of suspicion in the first instance. So what we want to say that is as simple as improving our environmental sanitation, because that is why we are going to control the spread of these particular mosquitoes. We are working very closely with the relevant ministry in order to address that issue.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Sulaiman.
Well, many thanks, Linda. Well, in a bid to take banking services closer to its customers, Access Bank Nigeria PLC has introduced a banking facility known as Access Express. It is a self-service outfit equipped with a state-of-the-art banking tools that allows customers to perform all forms of banking transactions on their own. The launch of its latest facility was performed by the bank's Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, Mr. Herbert Wigwe.
The Access Express Banking is a 24-hour service outlet where you can perform transactions that traditionally you will walk into a banking hall to do. The managing director leads other management staff of the bank on a tour of installed facilities.
What this does is that it starts to help to reduce the cost of serving your customers. But apart from that, it helps in inclusive banking. So if you go to remote areas or where there's a high traffic of customers, all right, you don't need to have the nature of elaborate branches that we used to have. People can just come in, do their business, and go around, their day-to-day business. So that's the whole idea. The central bank has also reduced the stringent requirements for certain levels of customers to sign on accounts. So they can actually come in here and open accounts.
Apart from ATMs that offer both withdrawal and deposit services, the outlet is furnished with kiosks, iPad stands for internet banking, and a teleconferencing feature that connects you directly to the bank's contact center.
Most of when I want to make transfers to my customers, they always insist I have a check leaf with the form I'm going to fill for the transfer. With what I've heard today, I don't need to carry my checks around. I'll just come here, fill the form, and it will be done automatically.
Very, very convenient, and it's time friendly, very safe and fast.
You can send funds between locally and interbank. You can request for checkbooks. You can do account statements. You can stop your checks. You can pay your bills, your DSTV bills, and you can do top-up airtime on your devices. So it's practically actually taking banking and putting it in your hand.
But one concern about this facility is how secured is it?
We have set up structures that ensure that every transaction that is done here is done in a secure environment. Physical security, internet security, all kinds of security structures have been built into what we have here.
No doubt, a good development for the bank, even as it promises to replicate this across the country. Kelvin Obetin, Channels Television News.
Well, time for us to look at our business stories now with Adeshawa Josh.
First Bank, truly the first.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Business News, everyone. 217 farmers across the 16 local government area of Kwara State will benefit from the 215 million naira commercial agricultural loan scheme provided by the government. Well, the state governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, while presenting checks to some of the beneficiaries, urged them to make judicious use of the funds to expand their businesses. He also advised them to be change agents that will train the next generation of commercial farmers in the state in their various communities. Well, the presidency says it will ensure the full implementation of the 2014 budget when finally passed into law. The Director General of Bureau for Public Procurement, Emeka Eze, disclosed this at an interactive session with some journalists in Abuja. Mr. Eze says the budget will be fully implemented, noting that circulars have been sent to all the ministries, departments and agencies of government ahead of the expected passage of the 2014 budget. He said that the BPP is prepared to block all leakages in the implementation of the budget.
So they find a way of partnering with. The need to further clarify the procedures becomes very obvious and urgent and necessary that the Nigerian public, contractors, suppliers, the legislators, the political leaders need to understand that in spite of the need for expediency, there's no provision for the provisions of the law to be sidetracked. What it just means is that people must start ahead of time to plan, and that was why on January 9th exactly, to be exact, we met with the permanent secretaries to prepare them for 2014 procurement regime, while reviewing what happened in 2013 to prepare them so that the moment the whistle is blown, so to say, the budget is passed. All the necessary pre-project stage have been done, especially procurement planning. SGF already had issued a circular to that effect as far back as December. And then really this year, I hope that budget this year will be implemented even more than 100%, so to say, because with the level of sensitization of all the people who need to know, we don't envisage any issue, except if people really, for character deficiency, decide to do the wrong thing.